Okay, imagine you're a farmer, and it's a beautiful, this is you, beautiful sunny day. You're out, well, you're not working here, you've got a hoe or something, and you're working over here, but here's the field. You're checking the crops. And it's a beautiful sunny day, and everything's great, and pretty soon you hear a little, and you think, oh, this is an airplane flying over my crops, circling my land, looking at my crops. Wait a minute, that's not an airplane. No, it's a drone, and they're snapping pictures of your land. Yep. And then they come and talk to you. Big guy from the government comes. Me notice you got new barn. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I see the new barn. Look at picture. And then you have to tell the big guy from the government, that's not a barn, you dope. That's a haystack. That's what's happening in some European countries, like France and Italy and Spain. Let me explain. The EU spends roughly $73 billion on farming subsidies every year, totaling 40% of the European Union's entire budget. Now, that's according to a watchdog group called FarmSubsidy.org. Been keeping tabs on the money and who's getting it. And here's a little more information on FarmSubsidy.org. Last November, it was taken over by a new parent group, the European Fund for Investigative Journalism. Guess who gets the, this is great. Guess who they get their money from? Yep. George Soros, Open Society Institute. Wait a minute. That's not a drone. That's George Soros. Starting to make a little sense. So in order for you to qualify for these EU subsidies, farmers have to keep their land in good agricultural and environmental condition. Oh, I love it. Because Spooky Dude can tell me, all, yes, they need to have drones so they keep it in good condition. Yes. They're using the drones now to monitor the farmland. The images taken by the drone jets, like this one, let Big Brother, and he is your brother, not your crazy uncle, he's your brother. Okay, so you're trimming your crops and planting your seeds and doing whatever farmers do. I don't know. They're all hicks, you know. And any farmer who breaks the rules risks losing some of his government money. Yeah. Last year, drones kept a watchful eye on 81,000 square miles of farmland for your protection. That's roughly the size of Kansas. I'm sure glad that while the EU government's wasting time looking at pictures to determine if a shed is really a shed, not a haystack, you know, we got hunger starting to happen. They're also counting the number of cows you have. Somebody's up there. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 25. We know that food is becoming more scarce. Yeah, we know the cost of farmland is going up. If you can, I recommend buying some farmland. Just try to get it with some tree coverings. I've been saying this for months, and I was called crazy, of course, but now it's a good idea. Even a Hollywood director, James Cameron's doing it now. It's good enough for James Cameron. Why, he made that Blue People movie, so he can't be racist or stupid. He makes movies. Soon, the drones could be watching more than farmland. Yeah, could be watching James Cameron. In this new report, the European Defense Agency recommends they be used to monitor drug trafficking and illegal immigration on the borders. What? I'm sure the drug cartels are going to be scared off by a little model airplane flying overhead. They want us to be more dependent on the government. Since we seem to be traveling down the same path as Europe, we can expect the drones to come here. And it's happening. Congress just passed the FAA Reauthorization Act, which gives the FAA the green light to develop regulations for testing and licensing commercial drones. By 2020, as many as 30,000 drones could be policing our skies. Oh, that is great. I think it might be a huge mistake, but nothing's going to happen. We're being squeezed to death by big government. We're losing all kinds of liberties, and nobody's even noticing. Nothing could happen here. Well, except maybe they start to redefine you as a terrorist. I'll show you how they're doing that next. I just told you that Congress just said that we're going to have drones patrolling our skies, taking away our privacy. I want to look at some of the other ways that we're being limited by big government, all for your protection. See if any of this stuff starts to add up in your head like, wow, this, if Glenn Beck is half right, this is trouble. The blog Zero Hedge posted a list of all the things the government now considers to be suspected of terrorism. And basically, if you want to know what a terrorist is, all you have to do is look up the definition of U.S. citizen. We are being painted as terrorists by our own country. Here's just a list of few of the things that are listed on Zero Hedge. Protesting. That one is you don't want to do that one. The government has admitted the FBI misled Congress in the past when it said that it had intel on a possible terror link to an anti-war rally in Pittsburgh. The Inspector General called the FBI's surveillance of a 2002 rally, quote, an ill-conceived project on a slow work day. Number 2, questioning of war. 3, questioning the government's targeting of civilians with drones. New York Times ran an article earlier this week titled, U.S. said to target rescuers at drone zone strike site. It's based on a report from the British group that says U.S. drone strikes in Pakistan are oftentimes killing civilian rescuers rather than militants. Not so, says the White House. The Times quotes an anonymous U.S. counterterrorism official who questioned the report's accuracy, saying, let's be under no illusions here. There are a number of elements who would like nothing more than to malign these efforts and help al-Qaeda succeed. Questioning pollution. Might be a terrorist. I love this one. Liking privacy. Did you know that the FBI considers you suspicious if you don't want other people just looking over your shoulder? You know, if you're searching online or something, or you're sitting someplace and somebody walks up behind you and you're like, hey, that's suspicious behavior. If you hide your computer from public view, very bad. Very bad. Right here. Potential indicators of terrorist activities related to the internet cafe. Oh man, how many times have I been in a Starbucks and I'm like, you know, you walk there and all I want to do is read what they're writing on their computer. What's wrong with that? And then all of a sudden the guy gets really shady and he's like, hey. Of course, another thing you really have to worry about is when people pay cash. Don't do that. Very suspicious. Asking questions about Wall Street. Being a libertarian immediately, or supporting the gold standard, or even holding gold. Or this one, this is so dangerous, stocking up on food. You know how dangerous those people are? Remember I told you about the sovereign citizens? Yeah, the sovereign citizens this week. Yeah, some of those, they do that. But then again, so do you. We are giving more and more sovereignty for security, and it is a very bad idea. Add these things up into your head and just see where that takes you, especially where you have a government holding back funds from Kenya unless they start killing babies. Especially where they say, hey, you talk to your priest, you better not tell anything to your priest. That's one of the first things did you read in Garden of the Beast? I don't know what made me think of that one. It's the way it always happens, gang. Know what's going on. Make sure you know who your friends are, who the like-minded people are. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with people of faith. I don't care what religion it is. I mean, unless it's like, I'm going to blow myself up. That's not a good idea.
I really thought that the GOP members understood, not the Washington power types, but the Americans understood You know, when we went to tea parties and you were complaining about Barack Obama and you're complaining about health care, you know, I tried, and I didn't do it enough, apparently. I tried to make sure you understood that the first president that you know, proposed this was not a Democrat. It was a Republican. And they took the small government chair away from the table. That's what Theodore Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson did. They took the small government chair away from the table. Wilson, Theodore Roosevelt, FDR, Andrew Jackson, who's in a different category on his own, LBJ, those are and Barack Obama, those are the most dangerous presidents to the Constitution.